everything else that was hacked recently. They didn't make a big deal out of that. I'll be honest, I think if he did have something, they would have released it. They would have been glad to release it. I don't want to take advantage of something. I have something that others don't have. I don't like the way that looks, but I would be able to do that if I wanted to. I'd be the only one that would be able to do that. If we wanted to, I just don't want to because I think that would be a conflict. We're doing them a tremendous service by doing it. We are going to build a wall, and people will go crazy. I don't blame them for what's happened. I don't blame them for taking advantage of the United States. I wish our politicians were so smart. They had one meeting. Nobody knew, not even Rona, my executive assistant for years. She didn't know. I didn't tell her. And that's because we have no defense. That's because we're run by people that don't know what they're doing.
No one does accordion hands like I do.
Like we were talking about before, I didn't get a chance to really watch the State of the Union. I was just listening to it because I was busy at work. Did he do a lot of accordion hands? Because I mean, that's a Trump staple.
I feel like there wasn't as much in the State of the Union because most of the time he was holding on to the podium, like he was like leaning on it. You know, he was doing that sort of lean where the teleprompter turn, like where he'd just rotate his body and lean on the podium based on where he's looking for a teleprompter or whatever kind of thing, or reading something.
And he also plays the room pretty well. He acknowledges people in the crowd. Like they do a good job with Trump's speeches. They do a good job with Trump's speeches of making sure they put people in strategic spots and he knows where everybody is so that as he can point people out and he does a good job of like playing the crowd and audience engagement type stuff, which obviously it's all strategic and it's all planned out. It's not like, it's not spontaneous or anything, but that's, part of being I think Trump is a showman more than anything. And so his inauguration speech and this speech last night, it was more taking pot shots at the left and talking to his target demographic, talking to his audience, not talking to like Congress. He's talking to the people who are watching on TV. He's talking to his supporters. That they always would get so mad. Like, remember the time he did some rally in like Alabama and he talked about like God and football and all kinds of like good
guns of football.
Yeah,
something like that.
And the left was like, oh my gosh, listen to this. He's talking about this. And it's like, yes, he's in fucking Alabama. Like, learn how to play to your crowd. Learn how to play to the audience that you're talking to. That's what all of his speeches and really everything he's done so far has been specifically for that purpose. He is going like full showman and playing everything up to his target audience. And I mean, it's perfect. The fact that the left gets so mad about it shows how divorced from reality they are and how much they don't understand the audience that's out there.
See, I thought that was just because she was a McCain, but still. But yeah, he definitely knows how to play the audience. I mean, there was this. I don't see I love when people post as like it's controversial. Like to me, I'm not necessarily like for like this kind of thing, but it's like, oh, so some kid apparently was like you said, he's pointing out people. There was this kid who has brain cancer who always dreamed of being a police officer. That apparently he gave him a little Secret Service badge, which that's a wholesome thing. That's nice. I just don't know why so me, this is where it's funny on the right of it's a nice gesture, but I don't know that you have to if you're against that person or you're against that team, I don't know that I necessarily agree with like you have to clap for something like that, because to me it's like you're letting a disabled kid on the basketball court shoot a goal. Should the opposing team cheer for that? Not really, because like it's just a cheap hack. It's not like a yes, it's nice that they're they're getting to score a goal, like, but like do they have to clap? Do they have to clap for it? No, I don't. I don't agree with that.
Well, see, that's a great analogy, because the only reason the other team puts the disabled kid in to score the goal is because your team is getting your ass absolutely fucking handed to you, and there is no way that you can possibly win. That is why you don't cheer for the disabled kid scoring the goal, because the only reason the disabled kid is in there scoring the goal is because we are so out of this. There is no hope ever. We suck so bad. We are getting our asses beat so bad that they literally put a fucking disabled kid to score on us. That's the Democrats. They are getting their asses beat so bad that they're getting scored on by the disabled kid. So yes, obviously they're not going to cheer for that. Like this is the state that the Democrats are in. I actually saw a poll. I didn't go through it in depth, but it was like, how far has the Democrats' approval rating fallen? And it was like off a cliff. And this is like on MSNBC, or not MSNBC. I think it was on regular NBC, but it was like mainstream media is actually running articles about polls that show that the Democrats are getting their asses handed to them. So like, yeah, they're having a rough time. So obviously, like when you're getting beat that badly, yeah, you're not going to stand up and cheer for the disabled kid. Like this is like an extra slap in the face. I get it. Still, like you could at least be like, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the graphic you're talking about, right? Only 21% approve.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it was CNN. I knew it was one of the like leftist media outlets that it was like, whoa, they're actually reporting this. That's fucking nuts. Well, and I mean, they're not really helping their case when they've got shit like this going around on the internet.
When I win, I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one.
Wow, this is a carbon copy of that Mockingbird.
I wish they had cut this together better, because literally every one of them is reading from the exact same script with the exact same cadence, like they've all been coached. And this cut is kind of jumbled and a mess.
Yeah, it's more like cutting in and out of each one, like show each one doing this, like show show that the continuity stays the same. Like.
Well, that's early on. It was like at first I saw 5, and then I saw 7, and then it was up to 22. But it went from 5 to 7 to 22, like boom, like they all hit it at the same time. Like it's all of them just reading from the same script, and that's the thing, that they don't have an independent thought in their fucking head. Not a single one of them. And that's their problem. Like, did you see the like mocking them with their little signs that said, I'm a retard, I'm a retard, I'm a retard. And then there's the one chick that has like the handmade sign. And on that, it said, I didn't get my retard sign.
Oh my gosh. That's great.
It's just like, I mean, let me see if I can find the one that's had 5 of them or 7 of them, because those were better. Those were better cut together than the 22.
Well, while you're finding that, if you want to know the state of the like Democrats. Just look at this. Like they have to, they had to all wear pink for some reason. Like all the women had to wear pink for not wanting to follow like gender roles. Like them all the women wearing pink. That's kind of sexist of them if they're trying to enforce standards on women to wear pink. Right.
They do know Breast Cancer Awareness Month isn't until October, right? Like you can cool it with the pink shit. The NFL will do all the pink out shit for you. You don't have to. And what's the purpose of the?
I feel like Breast Cancer Awareness Month like happens twice a year now. I feel because I see something about it. Like I know it's October, but then there's like another time where they're like, I don't know.
I think April. I think they do something else in April too. Like I think it's a different kind of women's cancer awareness thing where they do pink stuff. But I don't know. It's hard to keep up with all this like
activism
bullshit that we're supposed to. All the things we're supposed to care about. Like I barely. If it doesn't put money in my pocket,
I don't even care about testicular cancer, and I would be the one who'd be most affected by that. Prostate cancer. Like who the hell cares?
Man, I'm getting close to that age where I got to get the finger. Why do you have to bring that up?
I had to remind you, dude. Like,
well, a finger in the butt might actually be more enjoyable than one of the Biden State of the Unions, at least according to Mike Johnson.
By the way, I think the speech is going to be great, but I don't know how you do this for 9 minutes. The hardest thing was doing it during Biden, when the speech was a stupid campaign speech.
Mike Johnson said the hardest thing was doing it during Biden when the speech was just a stupid campaign speech. Talk shit about Mike Johnson all you want. He is pretty fucking useless half the time, but half the time he's not bad. And in those half the times when he's not bad, he delivers something like that.
Yeah, I can't get a full read on him because he seems like he could be like good, like he could be useful, but then he acts like a moron on some things. It's like, yeah, we need to pass a continuing resolution with 4 billion more for aid in Ukraine. It's like, no, dude, like that's no, we voted against that. That was the whole point. That's why we're trying to get Zelensky. And have Trump dress him down in front of everybody and get him to say, hey, you're losing this. You don't have the cards.
All right, I found the original. It was Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, and Chuck Schumer. And this one is cropped together pretty decent. Of the three of them, basically, or the three of them actually giving the same speech.
When I win, I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one.
That ain't true. That's what you just heard. Since day one of Donald Trump's presidency, prices are not down. They're up. Inflation is getting worse. Not better. The prices of groceries, gas, housing, eggs, of essentials. It's not getting better. It's getting worse. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has done enough goose eggs to lower prices. Instead, he's pardoned violent who savagely beat police officers on January 6th. He's letting Elon Musk take a chainsaw to vital government programs, and then, even worse, giving him access to Americans' most sensitive data, Social Security numbers, tax returns, health care returns.
You sell this to corporations. Why is this sensitive data?
So we went from the three of them to bumped up to 12 of them, and then we got to 22 of them. And like, it's the same. It's like the variable covers for comic books. Like, they put out different comic books and they have different covers on them. Like, that's what this is. This is the Democrat version of that. It's like you get the exact same thing over and over again. You just get a different cover for each of them because they've got the same lead-in Trump clip. They've got all the same little clips built into the middle of it. It's like I get it, but like, be more original.
Yeah, like Trump. He had to do the. He had to address Congress in scuba gear to avoid drowning in liberal tears. Oh no! Is this
apparently? Here we go. Apparently, that was written by Cory Booker. So this is all Cory Booker's. Elon Musk says we're now up to 22 Democrats all doing the same cringe video simultaneously. I will buy a Cybertruck for anyone who can provide proof of who wrote this particular piece of propaganda. First person to post proof in the replies to this post gets the truck. And Cory Booker said, "Clearly, you were triggered by the truth. It was me. Keep your truck." Dude is terrible.
I mean, I give him props for like having some balls to like come out and say like I wrote it, like, you know what I mean? So instead, because he could have just hidden behind like, oh, my team, blah blah, or something like this, like, or we had teams, like separate teams that worked together, or he could have done anything else. So I mean, I guess props for that, like he's coming out and saying like it was me. But other than that, he's a puss.
Let's see. What else we have? Oh, we have some fireworks right off the bat. So, have you ever seen anybody get kicked out of the State of the Union?
Wasn't there one during Trump's presidency? Because she just literally wouldn't shut up.
Well, I don't know if there was one during his first presidency, but there's already been one during the second term.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant at Arms to restore order to the joint session. Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant at Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Is that the Native American dude or whatever? Like the one that was his whole pick. Is like he's just like, I'm Native American, I deserve. I don't know who that was. He just does this little snap.
Mr. President, you continue.
I don't know who that guy was. He did like a little snap, like get him out.
So that is Representative Al Green. Al is from Texas. He's from Houston. Of course, he's from Houston. All the worst shit in Texas comes from Houston.
Well, or Austin.
Houston proper, yeah.
Austin's weird down there.
I saw something interesting. Somebody made a post on Reddit. It's like what I thought moving to Austin would be. And there's a whole bunch of like liberal bullshit. And they're like, what moving to Austin actually was. Or what has actually been. And it's all like a whole bunch of redneck shit, plus a little bit of the liberal bullshit. Like, apparently, for true liberals, Austin is still way too Texas. Like, for people in Texas, Austin is like a liberal hellhole. But for liberals moving to Austin, Austin is still like way too Texas. I thought that was funny to see the leftist perspective of Austin, especially after we know like what the right wing perspective of Austin is with like Buck and others who are like from that area and talk about it and stuff. It's like nobody likes Austin. Conservatives hate Austin because it's too liberal. Liberals hate Austin because it's too Texas. like no man's land.
They should just move Area 51 out there instead, because like.
Oh, and this morning we have articles from Newsweek and a handful of others. Donald Trump's approval rating goes negative for the first time in this term. Y'all been running that article for the last 3 weeks. They've been saying, "Oh, Donald Trump's polling negative. Donald Trump's got the worst approval ratings he's ever had." Except that there are as many or more polls that show the opposite. Like,
yeah, I feel like those are so subjective, though. It's like you're gonna. There's no way to get a good data size of like approval of. I mean, you can, but it's like some people are not gonna necessarily like be honest about it or whatever.
And like the main polls that I've seen that gave Trump positive approval ratings were from fucking ABC and Politico. So when the ABC and Politico polls were skewing like highly in favor of Trump, however Newsweek is going about conducting their polls, they are like cooking the books legitimately, because you don't have an ABC Politico poll that shows Trump with a 58 or 59% approval rating, and then like some other poll that shows him with a 40%. It's like, somebody's fucking up, and I would be willing to bet it's not the ABC Politico poll. Just my thought on it, though. I look at a lot of polls, not like that.
I would hope you were looking at the women on the polls, though. Not
anymore. Don't tell my wife I do that. Don't give me.
Well, she don't know, won't hurt her. Might hurt you though.
Yeah, eventually it will hurt me. Let's see what else we got going on.
Apparently, this congresswoman, I don't know, Jasmine, he had to do some kind of skit here. So let's see.
It's a sexual desire. Who is on the floor?
I really hate this song now. I'm so sick of it. It's gonna
40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music.
You really about to do it?
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Think it on it like that.
Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like fuck. Must have.
Oh my god, this song needs to die. Like, I'm sorry. It's everything has to be not like us now. Like Kendrick needs to go away, and that song needs to be retired forever. But yeah, she's sitting there. She's basically doing the like, oh, not like us kind of thing or whatever. Like, and she's not gonna be, or she's gonna be in attendance. She said, thought she was gonna say she wasn't gonna be there. But yeah. They have to film these cringe videos, dude. It's literally theater kids, ruled by theater kids.
I'm trying to find. I need to watch the. So the Democrats always have their like prepared response to Trump, to the State of the Union. Which, I mean, I don't know. Did the Republicans do that with Biden? I don't know if
they did something. It wasn't necessarily like, to me it wasn't like the open, like, against Biden, blah blah blah, kind of thing or whatever. They tried to do the whole like respectful. I guess you'd call it like respectful disapproval kind of thing or whatever. You know what I mean? They did have a thing.
Democrats don't do anything respectful.
Yeah.
They had this chick, Alyssa Slotkin, who gave her response, and I don't know much about Alyssa Slotkin other than she is on record as saying that she was recruited by the CIA and served 3 tours in Iraq alongside the military. So
well, that says a lot,
right? Thank you for making sure we all know whose side you're on in everything, the military-industrial complex and the deep state. I thought, I don't know. I thought like Democrats were against all of that kind of stuff, but
against which thing?
Against the the military and all that stuff. Like they
love the military when it's supporting adding funding more transgender clinics in Sri Lanka, like, or whatever. Like that's what they support. Like they don't support going after or stopping or they support the Ukraine, something like that. They don't support the, I guess, the more right-wing version of it, like, oh well, we'll protect against China or something like this, like any military use that would be for something like, I guess, protecting more national interest rather than just like, oh yeah, we believe in the spirit of the thing. That they love the military. Then, like, if they have a cause, that's how they believe in the military, is like if there's a cause that we can fight for, the Ukraine or whatever, then they're all for military use. Like there's no anti-war Democrat at all anymore.
And that's the interesting thing, because the right, to some extent, has kind of not backed off on support of the military, but backed off on support of the military doing a whole lot of stuff overseas. Like, and it could be because the military went, like, if Pete Hegseth does his job and cleans out all the woke and feminine DEI bullshit from the military and returns it to being a strong thing that you can be proud of, then there's a good chance that the right will start supporting it more again. But as long as it's whatever the fuck it is right now, it's not going to get a lot of right-wing support.
Yeah, basically, as long as the military looks like their local dance, whatever, or like their local, theater program, like they're not going to support it. But when it starts looking like, I don't know, like more like a Red Dawn situation or something like that, like, or when it starts looking like the clips of the Russian military, whenever they were showing their, like military ads or whatever. Then the right will be like, yeah, the military is great. But apparently, I didn't see all that response. You said Alyssa Slotkin. Apparently, this was her doing her response. She talked about the need to create good paying American union jobs, and the need to onshore our supply chains. Which that's take out union, and I agree with you. And then immediately complained about tariffs. So
right, they want to support the unions and they want to support bringing jobs back to America, but also they don't want to do anything that would actually, but they also support all of the things that have driven the jobs away and make it cheaper and easier for these companies to produce stuff everywhere else. And make that make sense.
Yeah. I don't understand. Like they've started this thing about like being against tariffs and being against the and they're talking about like the prices of eggs and stuff now. Which someone said something about AOC holding an egg carton. I didn't see that.
Okay, so they said they were going to. That was one of the things. There was a whole list. Let me see if I can find it. There was like a whole list of stuff that they were proposing that they were going to do to boycott or to make a scene at the State of the Union.
Yeah, signs of anti-Trump or anti-Doge message. I think that's the one they ended up doing. They had those little signs, right? Like,
yeah, they had their little retard signs.
Eggs or empty egg cartons to highlight how inflation is driving up the price. I don't think you want to go that route. Pocket Constitution to make the case that Trump has been violating the customs. Oh my gosh! Like the irony. Hand clappers. Okay, that makes sense for them. They need the little red card. Oh my gosh!
And say, I think if they took little hand clappers in there, Mike Johnson would have had them all escorted out. That's like disruptive.
That would have been fun.
Well, and so the funny thing is I don't know if you've seen this. Empty egg cartons is something that has been used to mock.
Yes.
Yes, it's to mock the childless liberal women. Like, all right, so you're going to bring
AOC waving the egg
right?
carton.
AOC waving an empty egg carton is like the most ironically funny thing ever, and they don't get it because they don't understand they don't understand humor, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't get the joke, so they just think they're being clever when they're actually like embracing the thing that we use to mock them.
Yeah, this is AI, but this is just imagine this. Like,
that'd be cool.
Oh god. Oh no! Someone made a better one. This is AOC in a Handmaid's Tale outfit with her egg curtain. I don't know what that is. Is that almost looks like a fentanyl pipe or something? They're gonna have AOC. Oh man, the memes about this. Okay, these are great.
I mean, it's so the way I stated it in the post, because I posted the list, the Axios list on Facebook. Like, these are all the things they're doing. Like, they have no power. All of this stuff is just them doing they're doing the dance to try to pretend that they're the resistance when they have no power. They have no they can do nothing other than these little gimmicky bullshitty things. And like it's amazing. It's like they have lost and they're going to continue to just like scream at the clouds. And I mean, what else are they going to do? But the problem is, so I was watching listening to it on the NBC feed. I have been thoroughly enjoying watching and listening to NBC News since the election. So I watched the NBC coverage, and there was actually while there was the crying and the, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Oh, what was that dude's name that he's gotten fired since then? Fuck. Anyway, one of the like main NBC, talking heads, after it happened, they were all talking about, oh, this is so terrible, it's so terrible. And he just like shut everybody down and said, it's our fault. We have treated race like a commodity instead of treating people like a voting block. He's like, we have completely fucked up the way we use and look at everything in society. And this is society saying Democrats got this wrong. And I mean, and everybody was like, oh, fuck. Like, you could just see it wash over their faces after he said it, like, oh, fuck, he's actually right. And like within a month and a half, he was fired, which that surprised me. But anyway, NBC, since the election, has had a bit more, I don't want to say balanced coverage, but it
tactful. I would say tactful.
Yes. And like, so last night after the State of the Union was over, they were like, and there were some things that really didn't help. And then they started talking about the Representative Green getting removed and the jeering and all the stuff that the Democrats did. Like, I thought they were going to talk about like things that weren't helpful. They were going to say, like, talk about things that Trump said in his speech, where they were like, the way that the Democrats were behaving did not make the situation any better. It's like, oh, fuck. Like, they're actually calling them out for being a bunch of like dumbasses. Like, that, you know, mainstream media calling out the Democrats for behaving like petulant children was not on my 2025 bingo card. And I guess it should have been. I did not see that coming. And granted, it's, you know, that's NBC. Now, Stephanie and I have watched some CBS and ABC coverage of other stuff, and holy fucking shit, CBS has gone the entire other direction. Like, I think CBS has gotten worse. And I think that's saying something. Like, I wasn't sure that
CBS was bad to begin with.
Right, I wasn't sure that you could, but CBS has gotten worse. It's like the fact that Trump won broke them in a really hard way, and like they've gone off the deep end with the way they talk about Al Green putting the N in indignant. Is he an N? He looks like
I don't think he's an N. I think he's a different kind of end for Native American, like Native, like. Or I'm sure there's other pejoratives that start with N that relate to those kind of people, but you know.
Well, and of course we get all of that the night after, or I guess the night of Trump's tariffs going into place. Do you have the clip of Doug Ford saying that they pulled all of their or they tore up all of their Skynet contracts for Ontario? Hang on, I got it. I know I've got it somewhere. Let me find it. Like, that was one of the goofiest things I think I've seen. Like, okay, a lot of Ontario is very rural.
Oh wait, this one. Yeah, I've got this. The Starlink.
Yeah, here I got it. I found it. Did I say Skynet? I meant Starlink. Same thing.
Same thing.
Is off the shelves. Also, starting today, all U.S.-based companies will be banned from taking part in government procurement. Every year, the province and its agencies spend about $30 billion on procurement, alongside our more than $200 billion planned to build infrastructure. U.S.-based businesses will now lose out on tens of billions of dollars in revenues. They only have President Trump to blame. I'm also urging all 444 municipalities to do the same. And I'm thrilled to see some are already stepping up. For example, Mayor Patrick Brown in the city of Brampton and many other cities. As part of this government-wide procurement ban, we're going one step further. We're ripping up Ontario's contract with Starlink. It's done, it's gone. We won't award contracts to people who enable and encourage economic attacks on our province and our country.
But wait. So I have a secondary clip of him right here.
Forward.
So there's another clip of him. So he says something about like, I will not allow people who would go, attack our economic interest or whatever. Look at this. This is him. Same guy.
We are the largest purchaser of alcohol in the world. We buy over 3,600 products from 35 states. I talked to the governor of Kentucky and Mitch McConnell. Don't touch our bourbon. I'm going after absolutely everything. And I don't want to. We keep the lights on 1.5 million homes in manufacturing in New York, in Michigan, and in Minnesota. If he wants to destroy our economy and our families, I will shut down the electricity going down to the U.S. And I'm telling you, we will do it. It's unfortunate. I would rather ship you more electricity, ship you more critical minerals. I want to ship you more energy, more potash to keep your farmers going, and uranium that you use for your nuclear power. It comes through from Saskatchewan over to Ontario, and it's going to be a massive, massive problem. I'm telling you, we love the Canadians love Americans. I love the U.S. Everyone does, and not one American friend.
But then he's willing to do economic attacks against the United States about their power grid. Like,
okay, did you see? There are also videos of them going through like liquor stores and
pulling out the bottles,
pulling out all the bottles and stuff. Okay, so y'all already paid for that. Yeah. Like you didn't by pulling the bottles off the shelf, you're not hurting the company, the American company that sold you the bourbon or the liquor. You are hurting the Canadian company that's trying to sell it, because it's already been paid for. They're now selling it at a marked up price. So they just now cannot make any money off of their product. Good job. You just fucked over all of your liquor industry. Also, you cut Starlink. So now all of the people in rural Ontario don't have internet access. Like, I'm sure they all really appreciate you fucking them over to make a point to Elon Musk. Like, this is like biting off cutting off your nose to spite your face kind of a thing. It's like, okay, so to get back at Elon Musk, we're not going to let our own people have internet.
It's like taking the tires off my truck to protest Goodyear. Like,
yes, this is some big brain shit. I mean, like, and then they're gonna cut off power to the Northeast. Okay, number one, there is not a single Trump supporter on the planet that gives a single solitary fuck about the Northeast. You're gonna cut off power to New York? Fuck New York. We don't want New York anyway. Why don't you just take New York? You're going to cut off power to Minnesota. Okay. You and Tim Walz can hang out around a bonfire or something. That's how you can get your light and heat. We don't give a fuck about Minnesota. Like, Trump supporters don't fucking care. Also, there's literally a third of the gas pipeline that pipes gas from the western part of Canada to the eastern part of Canada. And for anybody that knows how Canadian population works, that eastern part right around like Toronto and, by the lakes there, that's where literally everybody lives. Nobody lives anywhere else in Canada. Like, they all live right there. But they need that oil, that gas that comes from the western part of the state or of the country to heat and power everything where 86% of the population lives. Except that literally a third of that pipeline runs through the U.S. The federal government has control of a third of that pipeline. Why, you might ask, would Canada allow the U.S. to control their gas supply like that? Well, because they have such restrictive environmental protections through like the middle part of the country that they weren't allowed to build the pipeline through there. So they had to divert it and use American companies with American government contracts to come through the U.S. to run it back up to Canada to feed to the east. We control your fucking gas. Okay, Doug Ford, you're going to cut off the power. We're going to cut off your gas. Good luck. I mean, Doug Ford himself will probably be fine because he's a big fat fuck and he'll probably stay warm. But like all the skinny folks, they're fucked. And it's still cold in Canada. I got a buddy that's in like effectively Canada in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. He's like, we got 12 inches of snow last night. Like, fuck that shit. Like, it's still winter there.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna be snowed in and have no gas, and then all of a sudden they're gonna be like, why why Doug, why are you doing this?
Well, they won't be able to email his office to be like, why did you do this to us? Because he cut off the fucking internet. They don't have Starlink anymore.
They'll have to make a phone call. The archaic art of making a phone call.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? It's like, I mean,
Nord Stream. Just the whole entire Canadian 51st state is going to be since that upsets them so much. That it's just going to be one big pipeline for the U.S. to drill and move oil through.
Be incredible. Oh, you got anything else on the docket for today? Do we have anything like goofy, stupid fun? I mean, this has all been goofy, stupid, and fun in its own way, but I don't know. I didn't see anything else of like random dumb shit. Surely somebody sent some random dumb shit in the Twitter chat. Let's see what we got right quick. Clyde sent the same post 3 times. Thanks, Clyde.
Oh, here. This is a fun clip.
Despite a 29-year effort by the MLS, soccer has never broken into the mainstream in the United States, instead being far outpaced by the NFL and their $18 billion yearly profit. It's because soccer's gay.
I saw something where the WNBA is going on about how they deserve equal pay and all this shit again. It's like, yes, you're correct. You deserve equal pay. You should be paid your fair share of profits that your league generates. So you now owe us $70,000. Sorry. And that's the way this ought to work. Did the WNBA ever get their because they canceled, or they they were going into collective bargaining on their contract, and they canceled out of it, because they were going to try to negotiate for more pay after they just lost money for the literally every year they've ever existed in a row. Seems like a bad move to try to cancel out of your collective bargaining and nullify your contract when you just posted a $40 million loss as a league. Yeah. Oh, have you seen the guy that does the math on it? That explains why women should get paid less?
Oh wait, this economics, let's see, is this the same thing?
Out in the WNBA. This is something I've talked about a few times because
yes,
I think the players, they just have a much higher perception around their dollar value worth than the league is actually worth. And some of this stuff will work itself out, right? Like if you look at the WNBA, attendance, viewership, merchandise sales, everything's up and to the right. Sponsorships, they're making a lot more money, TV rights, everything. But most people don't understand the dynamic between the NBA owning a large chunk of the business, the owners owning a large chunk of the revenue stream, and the players are out there every day. I mean, you just look at what was happening in that 60 Minutes interview. Aaliyah Boston said that she wants commas in her paycheck, $1 million+ essentially, right? And that's not happening anytime soon in the WNBA. It's just not going to happen. Asia Wilson makes $200,000 a year. And we're going to get to a point where that's going to set in as reality. And I think the players are going to have a really hard time dealing with that because they're going on the road and they're seeing these sold out arenas. The economics of the league just don't give that opportunity.
And those tickets are sold out, by the way, because they're cheap seats. That's why they're not the WNBA tickets are not expensive if you look at them for.
Oh no, the one I was talking about was funny as shit. The guy was like, okay, so first of all, the men play an 82 game season, whereas the women play like I can't remember what it is. It's like a less than a 40 game season. So they're already playing, or like right around a 40 game season. So they're already playing half as many games. Also, their quarters are like the length of the shot. Okay, the length of the shot clock is longer. So you have fewer possessions per game. So they're actually playing less actual basketball over the course of the game than what the NBA is playing. And they have shorter quarter lengths. And like he was doing all of this other stuff. It's like, so at the end of the day, they're probably actually getting paid exactly what they should be when you take all of that into account. Also, they're
I think I've seen the clip that you're now that you're talking about it, I think I've seen the. Yeah, he basically goes over.
Yeah, he goes through the math of why the WNBA gets paid a third of what the NBA does, because the WNBA plays a third of the basketball that the NBA does. Effectively. It's pretty cool. Math for the win. And you thought math wouldn't come in handy as an adult. Maybe not you in particular. Sean, he was trying to get me to like sign him out of his Algebra 2 class. He was like, I don't need this. I'm never going to use this. I was like, motherfucker, like, I know what you want to do for a career. This is the math that you need for what you want. Like, he wants to do, he wants to either like go into construction or carpentry or be an electrician or something.
You got to do a lot of math.
I was like, this is the math that you fucking need. I was like, if you want to do any of the things that you've talked about wanting to do for a career, you need at minimum Algebra fucking 2. I was like, no, maybe you don't need geometry or trig or calculus or anything like that. Like, but you at minimum need fucking Algebra 2. Like, I'm not letting you drop out of Algebra 2. So shut the fuck up and do your work. Oh man, I'm gonna beat the shit out of that kid one of these days.
I thought you already had.
I mean, regularly, but I mean, like, not in the playful way. Like, actually, I'm just gonna
just like lose your mind kind of thing. Yeah,
I'm just gonna unleash like 16 years of pent up frustration at him and just haul off and beat him for real. And now I've said it on the internet, so I can't even deny it. This was premeditated. It's like, it wasn't premeditated. I'm just acknowledging that there's a high probability it'll happen. I'm not like thinking about it actively or anything.
Speaking of not thinking about it, so I haven't thought about this case in a while, but apparently Casey Anthony's back.
I had that pulled up and I was like, yeah, maybe not.
Sweat to death. Okay.
Yeah. After your comments. Oh, that's kind of funny.
Today is Saturday, March 1st, 2025. This is my first of probably many recordings on a series that I'm starting. I am a legal advocate. I am a researcher. I've been in the legal field since 2011. And in this capacity, I feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter. For those of you who don't know, my name is Casey Anthony. My daughter is Kaylee Anthony. My parents are George and Cindy Anthony. This is not about them. This is not in response to anything that they have said or done. That's not to say that I'm not going to respond at some point to some of the things that they have said and done. The whole point of this is for me to begin to reintroduce myself. I'm doing this both personally for me, but in a professional capacity. Moving forward, the majority of what you will see will be me speaking in a professional capacity. My goal is to continue to help give a voice to people, to give people tools and.
Yeah, you gave a voice all right to your dead child. Like, That's messed up. But apparently, also she's also now an LGBT advocate, and I forget something else. So she's a racial ally too, or something like that. Like she's went the full lib like thing.
I mean, that was the natural progression anyway. She killed her kid. I mean, granted, as a lib, you're supposed to do it before they come out of the womb. But I mean, it makes sense. She was already pretty much full lib, just and she was exercising that
Nut.
What
I mean, you don't. Oh, Magoo would not.
Well, I mean, at least you don't have to worry about paying child support.
Oh, God.
Sorry. Was that too far? I don't know. I mean, it's been a long time.
That toes the line, That's one of those. It toes the line. It's funny, but it's like, oh man, that's sick.
Hey, that's what we do here: dark humor and retardation.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.